All right, let's talk about a huge shift happening in AI right now. We're moving away from AIs that just, talk back to us to AI agents that actually do things. This is a really big deal. It's like we're watching the industrialization of intelligence in real time. And to break it all down, we're going to be using the book AI Agents in Action as our roadmap. So let's get into it.
So what's really the difference here? Well, it boils down to something super simple but really profound. Think about it. For a while now, we've had chatbots that know things. You ask a question, they give you an answer. Super useful. But an AI agent? An agent does things. It's all about action, about executing tasks, about having a goal and getting it done. And that, right there, is the massive leap we're going to unpack.
Okay, so let's push past the whole chatbot idea. What actually makes an agent, well, an agent? What are those key ingredients?
The book gives us a pretty solid definition. It says an agent is an entity that acts or exerts power, produces an effect, or serves as a means for achieving an end. Whoa, that's a mouthful, right? But the key words here are acts and produces an effect. It's not just sitting there waiting for a prompt, it's proactive. It's built to make something happen.
And here's the cool part. You've probably already used an AI agent without even realizing it. Seriously, if you've ever asked ChatGPT to make a picture for you with DALL-E 3, you've used what's called a proxy agent. You just give it a simple idea, right? But behind the scenes, the agent is thinking, okay, how can I make this better? It rewrites your prompt, makes it more detailed, and then gets the job done. It's this awesome little helper working for you.
Okay, so if an agent's job is to act, how in the world do we tell it what to do? Well, it all starts with the instructions. This is how we literally craft the agent's mind.
And the book lays out a whole toolkit for this. We're talking about things like giving the agent a persona to adopt, using special markers to separate different parts of your instructions, breaking tasks down into specific steps, and even showing it examples of what you want. These are basically the control knobs for shaping how an agent thinks and acts.
Check this out. This example is perfect. Let's say you ask, what is the capital of Canada? You get a straight answer, Ottawa. Simple enough. But what if, before you ask, you tell the system, you are a prompt expert. Now, everything changes. It doesn't just give you the answer. It actually looks at your question and suggests how you could have asked it better. It's playing the role you gave it. That's the power of a persona.
And this can get way more sophisticated than just a simple role. You can build a whole agent around a personality. I love this Data Scout example from the book. It's an agent built for data analysis, and they model its personality on the statistician Nate Silver, who's famous for making complicated data feel simple. So the persona doesn't just define what the agent does, it defines how it does it, how it talks to you, how it explains things. It's brilliant.
So clear instructions give the agent its mind, right? But to actually do stuff in the real world, it needs hands. And that's where tools come in. This is how we give agents superpowers.
This is so critical. An agent with tools is no longer trapped by its training data. We can give it the ability to execute code, to plug into external services through APIs, even just to browse the web for up-to-the-minute information. This is what makes them truly useful for real-world work.
And here's a perfect look at that in action. This is a task organizer agent. When it's asked to sort out some tasks, it doesn't just make stuff up. You can see right here in the log that it's actually calling an external API. Think of it like a special web link for programs to talk to each other, to go grab a real to-do list from somewhere else. It's reaching out into the digital world to get a job done.
Okay, a single agent with tools is pretty powerful. But what happens when you have a problem that's just too big or too complicated for one agent to solve on its own? Well, you assemble a crew.
And that brings us to this idea of multi-agent systems. It's exactly what it sounds like. A team of different agents all working together. Each one might have its own special skill or its own set of tools, and they collaborate to crack problems that would be impossible for any single one of them. It's like a digital assembly line for thinking.
And this isn't just some sci-fi idea, by the way. This is happening right now. You're looking at a tool called AutoGen Studio from Microsoft. It's basically a sandbox where you can build your own teams of AI agents, give them a project, and then just watch them work together to figure it out. It's pretty incredible to see.
Let's make this super concrete with an example from the book. Imagine you need some code written. You start by giving the task to a user proxy agent. That agent then hands it off to an engineer agent who actually writes the code. But, and this is the key part, it's not done yet. The code then goes to a reviewer agent whose entire job is to poke holes in it and find bugs. The two of them go back and forth, refining and fixing until the code is solid. You've just created an entire software team out of AI.
So how do all these agents actually coordinate? Well, there are a couple of main ways. You can have a nested chat, which is pretty linear, like a handoff. The engineer finishes its work and passes it directly to the reviewer. Or you can set up a group chat where a manager oversees the conversation and all the agents can chime in. It's much more like a dynamic team meeting.
All right, we've covered a ton of ground here, right? From what an agent even is, all the way to building entire teams of them. So let's wrap this up by looking at the key building blocks we've put together. So it really comes down to these 4 things. First, you have the core definition. Remember, an agent is an AI that does things. Second, you shape its mind with super clear instructions and personas. Third, you give it tools, its superpowers for connecting to the real world. And finally, for the really big stuff, you assemble a crew, a multi-agent system that can work together. That's your playbook.
Look, these aren't just cool ideas. These are the real, practical building blocks for creating the next wave of AI. We're talking everything from little bots that automate your daily tasks to huge, complex systems that can solve major problems. The future of AI is all about agents, and the tools to build that future are here. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?